My name is Steven. I'm from Budapest, Hungary, and I've been living in Shanghai for the past 18 years. Many of you probably already heard by now that Shanghai is experiencing a huge surge of COVID-19 infections, and there are strict lockdown procedures in place. That's something this city has never seen before. Shanghai is, of course, a stunning metropolis of more than 25 million people, a global financial center, an innovation hub, and home to thousands of Chinese and multinational companies. Shanghai also has a rich historic past and lots of international connections dating back centuries. Unlike the rest of the world, China has been largely free of any COVID outbreaks, except the original one that was brought under control in Wuhan in 2020. Life across China has been almost normal, as everyone here is very self-conscious about cooperating with epidemic prevention measures, such as wearing masks, doing occasional PCR testing, and so on. Actually, until a few weeks ago, I haven't met anyone who knew someone with COVID. Yet most of my family and friends abroad have either already had COVID or were in close contact with people who did. So far, the biggest inconvenience for us foreigners here had been the almost prohibitive difficulty of traveling back to our home countries or to have our relatives visit us. I myself have not been back to Hungary since 2019, and my parents have been unable to see their grandchildren growing up in the last 3 years. The speed with which the latest Omicron variant spread through Shanghai has taken everyone by surprise. Earlier, we had been worried when we saw 1 or 2 infections in a month, and now we see them in the 20,000s in one day. Streets have been eerily empty, companies ground to a halt, and supply chains have been thrown into disarray. For the past 16 years, I've been working in the cultural industry in China, cooperating with museums and science centers all across the country. Currently, of course, museums in Shanghai are all closed, and many temporary exhibitions have been cancelled or postponed. We as a software development team have moved all of our operations online a long time ago. I myself have been popping in and out of online meetings with our Hungary office and our Chinese teams, internal training sessions and product discussions through video conference. At the same time, I and my wife are also doing volunteer work in our residential compound, where we live together with almost 5,000 people, locked in for almost a month now. We're trying our best to minimize the inevitable rate of transmission, doing PCR testing for everyone almost every day, which is itself an uphill battle. Most of the maintenance workers and staff of the compound have already been quarantined, so currently it's up to the residents and volunteers to do most of the basic maintenance, cleaning and disinfection. At the same time, we're trying to ensure that people still have food and other supplies for basic survival. Our compound also recently organized a very successful community event, a so-called balcony concert, where all of us who are locked inside our apartment in these high-rise buildings gather on our balcony, listen and dance to the same music, and try to have a fun time under the circumstances. This was definitely something none of us has ever experienced before, and is also a great example of the surviving spirit of the people in Shanghai. We all hope that things will get back to normal soon. Until then, keep up the Shanghai spirit. Shanghai 加油!